You're on the first date, and first conversation. Like, what are some of the things that a woman can say that are complete turn-offs for you? That's gonna be like, all right, it's time to get up out of here.
Hmm. First and foremost is when they start out the conversation by saying, oh, I don't need a man. I'm just telling you, I don't have to have a man. Uh, I can go out to eat by myself. I can pay for my own meal. I promise you, you will not get a second date after saying that.
So
It's
obviously, if you say
happened.
so obviously, obviously that you say that, right? Has that ever happened to you before?
It has happened several
And
times.
did you say anything, or you just in your mind just automatically like how did it play out?
I was just automatically out. I was checked out. I just was ready to finish the date up
Uh-huh.
and go. Couldn't get out of there fast enough. Uh,
Have you have you ever had like tell me another dating experience you had that was probably like in your eyes was like either a waste of time or um what did she do to kind of like you know turn you off or whatnot?
right. Another thing is when they start asking a little bit too much about my finances.
Based on what? Why would they do that? Like tell me a time when a woman did that and how did that
Okay, yeah. Let me start. Let me backtrack a little bit on it. I was on a date with a young lady,
right.
and she was like, I like a man that can take care of me. Turn
Uh-huh.
off number one. So and I said, well, what you mean? And she was like, financially, I like to be taken care of. And that turn off number one. You don't even know me like that. You're already asking about money and can I take care of you?
So let me ask you something. Do you think you drive a vehicle that would be considered nice by a lot of women?
I do. I
So,
do.
so do you think her saying that was just upon what you're driving, or like what indicators did you give to make her think that she could even say that?
Well, I think sometimes if you look at people and a person has a nice house, some nice vehicles, and you see them eating at nice restaurants and going nice places. I think that might have been the assumption, like, oh, okay, yeah, he's got it, so he can give it.
Right, right. So do you think? So do you start high or start like when you go out? What's your first dates? Come on, now be honest, bro. Where you at?
Oh, I'm gonna tell you. So I start medium. I'm not gonna take you to the most expensive restaurant.
Okay, what's medium for you in
A
your
medium
eyes?
for me would be
Give me a plate. Give me a plate.
okay. A medium for me would be about $70 a
Okay,
piece.
right. A
That's
piece.
medium for me. Yeah, $70 a piece because
So that's
you have two
140. That's
drinks.
140.
Right. You're gonna have a
Okay.
couple of drinks, your
Right.
meal.
Right.
About
Right.
140, 150.
140, 150 to you. Yeah, that's medium. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Definitely. That makes sense based upon uh, what you've been telling us. So that I could definitely see why. So, but okay. So do you feel that if a woman suggestively asks you to take her somewhere, like have you ever talk about first date, have you ever encountered that or like I've
Oh
heard that
man.
happen?
Yes.
Okay.
I had a lady reach out to me on Facebook, was in my DM,
Right.
and we were conversating in my DM, and I knew what she did. She was and which this doesn't have a lot to do with it, but she was administrative assistant, and for DHS or something like that.
Right.
So she probably made about 30,000, maybe 40 a year.
Uh-huh.
And so, hey, it's okay. You got a job, this and that. So I said, well, maybe I can take you out sometime. Sometime. What kind of places do you like to eat? And she's like, oh, well, I only eat at high end steak restaurants. And I'm like, okay. In my mind, I'm like, one, two, three. You only make 30,000 a
Right.
year, but you only eat at up here. There's a place called Sonny Williams, and
Right.
your average meal is gonna be about 110 a piece.
Right.
And she's like, yeah, like Sonny Williams, the butcher shop. She's naming off all these expensive steak restaurants, which you know, I'm like, you can't be affording this on what you making.
Right.
So yeah, so at least to say I never did take her out.
Damn.
Yeah.